Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today you are going to listen a very important topic, the way of refined character according to Buddha's teaching. So I'm going to deliver my Dhamma talk today on this topic. So I was invited by Mrs. Manori to do this Dhamma talk today. I have done one or two Dhamma talk for this organization, Servants of the Buddha. And also I'm happy to hear and happy to say our Mrs. Nadisa Vijay, who is also a member of this organization. She's the secretary, who is vice principal of our Buddha's English Dhamma School. So now I'm going to start the Dhamma talk according to the topic which I selected today. So before that, I would like to say few things our lives. Sound I can hear. Okay. So why we need to refine a character? So when we focus on everyone's character, there are many shortcomings, there are many errors, there are many mistakes in everyone's characters. So people always think my character is already good. I'm a perfect person. So people always, they have been used to think like this. Actually, our characters are not perfect according to some sounds. According to our Buddha's teachings. So if someone wants to be a perfect character, he need to practice what the Buddha said. Here, Buddha has explained how you can overcome your own mistakes and errors and wrong views and these things in your lives. So you have to do some methodological, or you have to go on a right path for that. If you don't walk on a right path, you can't achieve, you can't come to the goal or target what you want to be. For that, first, you have to know what is the right path is. If you don't know what is the right path, you can't walk on the right path. Also, you cannot right goal. Buddha always advised us not to grasp or cling to your views and opinions. Most of the people who practice sometimes Dhamma also, they cling or they thoroughly grasp the views and opinions. Sometimes their views, sometimes the others. So then they cannot walk on the path, and also they cannot reach to the liberation. If you are seeking or if you are willing to reach to the liberation, to get the liberation, so you have to freely walk on the path. I have many experiences when I associate the people. They have many kind of views and opinions in their mind, sometimes with their trainings, practices, sometimes with the knowledge what they have, sometimes uh, with the people whom they associate, sometimes with the monks whom they associate. So then they are not free characters. They are on a view. They cannot walk on the path. Sometimes they cling to the monks. Sometimes they cling to the views. Sometimes they cling to the traditions. And I can say many things. So if you are seeking, if you are willing to get the liberation, you have to keep them away until you reach to the liberation. You should be a free person. Then only you can get the liberation. So in this teaching, what I'm going to explain you today, so this is the one and only way to free from suffering. Also, you can apply this teaching into your day-to-day lives also. How you can reach to your goal, how you can achieve your goals without any disturbances. So I'm going to tell you 5 techniques according to Buddha's teachings, how you can do this, how you can refine a character, the a character. So the first technique, what the Buddha said, is effacement. 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 Effacement means, I can explain you. First, you should have a determination. Determination means when you start or when you want to, if you want to remove your mistakes or errors or unwholesome deeds, unwholesome actions from your lives, what you have to do, first you have to have good determination. I can explain with the examples according to Buddha's teaching what he has given here. Others will be harmful. We shall not be harmful here. Thus, effacement can be done. So that means when we are living in this world, we can see there are many kind of mistakes and wrong views, wrong actions, and many things which are wrong, which are not wholesome. So these things are there in the world. So people are doing many kind of wrong things. Sometimes I also, I mean, not me, I also sometimes do unknowingly might be happen, verbally, mentally. So you can think like this. I also do this kind of wrong things. Might be you are saying lies, might be you are saying uh, unnecessary words like this. You can think about yourself. So the people also doing some wrong thing. I also do some kind of wrong things in my life. so so I want to overcome all the wrong things I do, all the wrong actions what I do. So if I want to overcome wrong thing, wrong actions what I do, there is a path. If I walk on this path, definitely I can overcome, remove, or eradicate my wrong view, my wrong action, and my wrong thing what I do. So like this, you have to have a good determination. First, you should have a good understanding. What is the good understanding? There are wrong views and actions in this world. People are doing it. I may also do it. I want to remove or eradicate these wrong things from my life. So what I have to do, I have to walk on the right path which I have selected. If I walk on this right path, definitely I can remove or eradicate this wrong view or wrong action from my life. In this way, you have to have a good determination. This is called effacement. Effacement can be done in this way. So this is the first step. So this is, we can say, as I told you, a determination, but not just determination with a good understanding. You may have a lot of mistakes in your lives. Sometimes you don't focus on your mistakes. Why? You have more things to do. What you have to do, you always focus on the others. That person does this kind of mistakes. Normally, people used to do this. They have got used to see the others' mistakes and errors, but they don't focus on themselves. In Buddhism, always teaches us observe yourself. That's why. So first, you have to understand then there are mistakes and unwholesome actions, wrong views in this world. People have these problems. So I also have, if I want to overcome it, there is a path. If I walk on this path, definitely I can remove it. I can eradicate it from my life. In this way, you have to do the first effacement. Effacement should be done by in this way. Effacement, if you do this in this way, firstly, then you can go to the next step. I told you one example. Others will be harmful. We shall not be harmful. Here, thus, effacement can be done. And I will give you another example. According to Buddha's teaching, others will kill living beings. We shall abstain from killing living beings here. Thus, effacement can be done. Other people, they kill living beings, but I want to abstain from it. So like that, you can do the effacement. Others tell lies. I want to abstain from saying lies. Others are gossiping. I want to abstain from it. Others have jealous. I want to abstain from it. You can do the effacement like this. This is the first step. That means you have to accept it and you have to determine to do it, to remove it. Without accept that you have this kind of mistakes, you don't have anything to remove from your life. If you always think I'm the right person, then you are right person until the death. So that's why Buddha said us, he advised us, first you have to accept your mistakes and errors and wrong views, these things. Then you can start to remove your mistakes, your wrong views, wrong actions, and these things. So this is the first step. Then after you have a good determination, the next technique is what you have to do, the arising of thoughts. When the people have a determination, they don't try to go to the next step. Okay, I have this. Okay, I have this. Just they think and stay without doing anything. The Buddha said as arising of thought is very important. You have to produce thoughts. Producing thoughts is very important. After you have a determination, you have to produce thoughts related to that determination, what you determine to remove from your life. You determine to remove the mistakes and errors and wrong views, these things from your life. So then you have to produce thoughts. After you wake up in the morning, from that time until go to the bed, you have to produce thoughts related to your mistake that you have. Normally, people, what they do, they produce thoughts. I know they produce thoughts. What they produce to increase greed, hatred, and delusion. When somebody blame to them, when they have an angry in their mind, they produce thought for what? To increase that or decrease it. They do, they always producing thoughts to increase it. This person blamed me on that day, like this, like that. So he did before also like this to me. He will be doing again like this to me, like that. He takes some uh, ideas, some thoughts from the past and the future. He's increasing his that angry thought. So this is what they do. But here Buddha advises us, arising thought means, producing thought means, he has to produce thought to remove it, to decrease it. The example which was given by the Buddha, the thoughts would be produced, others will be harmful. We shall not be harmful here. Like that, he has to produce thoughts. But who did not start to walk on the path, what he does, uh, others also harmful, I also must be harmful for the others. Like that, uh, they are producing thoughts. If she harmful to me, I also must be harmful. So this is how the people who are walking on the wrong path, producing thoughts in their mind. But Buddha advice, uh, the thoughts should be produced, others will be harmful. We shall not be harmful here. Others might be harmful, okay. That's not a problem for me. But I shall not be harmful to anyone. In this way, you have to produce thoughts. Also, I will tell you another example. He thought should be produced, others will killing living beings. We shall abstain from killing living beings here. Others are killing living beings, but I don't do it. You have to produce thoughts in your mind like that. Others might be jealous. I'm not going to be a jealousy person. I don't be jealous to the others. Like that, others are hateful. I'm not hateful. Always you have to produce thoughts. The producing, that means you are creating your mind into the right way. We always used to create our mind to the wrong side, wrong way. Ah, he's also jealous to me, I also must be jealous. He's also a hateful character, I also must be hateful character. Like that, we always produce thoughts in wrong way, in unwholesome way. So in this way, you have to remove or refine your character. There is no other way to refine a character. So some people think after they listen to the Dhamma, okay, I'm a good person. After they went to the temple, I'm a good person. After they practice meditation for 1 hour, 2 hours, okay, I did meditation, now I'm a good person. But still he has hate, jealous, and greedy, and these things. Why? He doesn't practice it in day-to-day lives. If he practice in day-to-day life, these things are not happening, it is decreasing, not increasing. That's why I have many experiences with the people. They do a lot of meritorious activities. Sometimes they organize big dana and big ceremonies. You know what happens? At the end of the ceremonies, they fight. Hmm? They fight. Why? They haven't practiced during this period their mind. Only they have done just the ceremony. Why? They did not have any goal when they started to do this meritorious action, this dana or anything, what they have organized. They wanted to do just a ceremony. So I always advise people who comes here, when they start to do some ceremonies, first you must be mindful. Try to observe your mind, what is happening. Because when you are with a lot of people, they uh, they may can say a lot of unnecessary things. Those words could be uh, harmful for us. That means it could be uh, hurt for us. But you are doing a meritorious action or good thing, so you should be mindful that time not to take. You might be get angry, but you should be very careful with your own mind. Oh, I got angry. Then you have to, because why? You can take the first example, the effacement. You are doing this meritorious to clean your mind, to be happy, to get the peacefulness. So if you need peacefulness and happiness or liberation, what you have to do, okay, these people are saying bad things. They they are very harmful. Okay, I shall not be harmful anyone. So you have to be calm that time. Now you have to produce thoughts. What you have to produce thoughts, like what I said before, he's saying unnecessary things. I'm not saying any unnecessary word in this moment. Like that, you have to produce thoughts that time to the other way, to the right way. Now you are producing thought without producing angry thoughts or evil thoughts in your mind. You are producing good thoughts. So when you are going back home, you are very happy because you haven't produced any unnecessary thoughts in your mind. If not, what happened after finish the ceremony, you go back home. After go back home, you have many things to be repent, not to be happy. Hmm? So like, that's why you have to be careful. You have to be mindful all the time what you do. When you do meritorious actions, also you have to be careful. So that's why very important producing thoughts. Next one is avoidance. Hmm? Now you already produced the thoughts. After you produce thoughts, now your mind is will be strong. Hmm? You have a strong mind. So when you have a strong mind, then you have to start to walk on the path. This moment, somebody asked me to send this link. Now you have to start to walk on the path. the path is uh, the right path, not the wrong path. It should be selected by yourself. Buddha has given an example here. A person given to harmfulness has none harming by which to avoid it. That means there are people, they are harmful to the others. Now, avoidance is done by yourself. So when you are do the avoidance, you have to focus on yourself. Harmfulness also there, non-harming also there. If you want to be a harmful guy, you can walk on that path. If you want to be a non-harming, you want to be a person who is not doing harmful thing to the others, you can select that path. So that means you have to avoid harmfulness. You have to select non-harmfulness. You have to avoid harmfulness and you have to select non-harmfulness. Or if you want to select killing living beings, you can select it. Or if you want to select not to killing living beings, you can select that one. If you want to tell lies, you can select that one. If you want to select not to tell lies, you can select that one. That means if a person want to walk on the right path, there is a right path, also a wrong path. Most people, what they do, they always select the wrong path. That's why after you produce thought, because they are producing thoughts in their mind all the time. This is, we can say, yoniso manasikara or ayoniso manasikara. Most of the people, they have ayoniso manasikara. They always create their own mind with the unnecessary things, unwholesome things. So mind does not helps after that him to walk on the right path. Mind always says, if he blame to you, you also must blame to him. If you hit him, you also must hit him. Like that, mind does not support you to walk on the right path. That's why Buddha said, first you have to produce thoughts in your mind into the right way, then your mind becomes strong to walk on the right path. After that, you have confidence because you have been produced thoughts in right way. So now you have confidence to walk on the right path. Now you always select the right path. Others are harming, I do not harm. You walk on that path. Others are killing living beings, I do not kill living beings. You walk on that path. Others are getting angry, I do not get angry. You walk on that path. Because you are walking with the confidence, not without the confidence. Because you have produced thoughts and you have done strongest your mind. So this is how you have to avoid. What you have to avoid? You have to avoid the wrong path, the bad path, you can say like that. You have to select the right path and good path, beautiful path, and then you are in the right path and beautiful path. Your life is going very smoothly. You feel happy like that. So now you come to the way upward, the next one. I will tell you the example which has given by the Buddha. A person given to harmfulness has harmlessness to lead him upward. Okay, now you understand. A person given to harmfulness, before he was a harmful character. Now he is not a harmful character anymore. He has harmlessness. For harmfulness, he has harmlessness. This lead him upward. Harmlessness to lead him upward. Upward means now he feels a difference in his life. Before he said lies, he uh, killed he killed living beings, and he got angry. You can match with your lives, and you can understand with your uh, mistakes and unwholesome things that you have. So now he has been changed his life. Now he feels some difference in his lives. He feels some difference. Before I was like this, now I'm like this. And he feels that his life has become more high position. No one want to say, you are a good person now. Because most of the people, they like to know from the others that he is a good person or a bad person. Normally, we like to listen from the others, I'm a good person. According to Buddha's teachings, no one wants to say you're a good person. Because you should have to know you're a good person or a bad person. So in this way, we can understand, we can have best confidence with ourselves. Before I got angry, now I have totally, it is not easy to remove, but we are on that path. But we can understand, before I got angry like this, but now it has been reduced. I don't get angry like before. I had jealous before like this. Now I don't feel any jealous like before. So like that, you can observe yourself, and then you feel some difference in your lives. So then you feel some happiness. So I'm now a little bit uh, higher position. Now I'm in good way. So then you feel a lot of happy. So like that, this is the way of upward. This is what we call upward. You feel some high. You feel some satisfaction in your lives. So next one is quenching. quenching. I will tell the example which was given by the Buddha. A person given to harmfulness has harmlessness by which to attain to the full quenching. That means in this point, you can understand yourself. I have totally removed my mistake or my error, my unwholesome side, my wrong view. I can say many things. So like this, you can understand yourself. Totally, I am free from this. That's why he explained a person given to harmfulness has harmlessness by which to attain to the full quenching. Before he was a harmfulness, he was a harmfulness guy. Now, gradually, he walked on the step by step on that path. Now he has no any kind of harmfulness in his life. Totally, he has been free from that mistake or that unwholesome fact from his life. So this is the way how you can free from suffering. This is the way how you can achieve the liberation. Liberation is not coming through praying or just sitting and meditation and just giving dana. These things also you should do. While you are doing these things, you have to always focus on the teachings and practice. Always you had practice it. The anger is not or hate or delusion or desire. These things, they don't remove from our lives very easily. You have to practice it every time. You have to walk on this path as I told you according to Buddha's teaching. So I have heard there are some monks and people also, they are giving certificate after they free from suffering. That means after they attain enlightenment. So no one need to give certificate. You can understand yourself whether I have removed this my unwholesome deed in my life or not. This defilement in my life or not. You can understand yourself. If you can go through these teachings, you can understand yourself. Before I was a harmful guy, now I have not that harmfulness in my life anymore. Because you have done it, gradual practice. You went and you started to practice according to Buddha's teaching. Because now you have self-confidence with yourself. No one want to say, you have already passed from this. How the others know? They don't know about your mind. You are the one and only person who knows about your mind. Then you have to practice in this way. First one, I said 5 techniques, 5 facts. First one is effacement, then arising of thoughts, avoidance, the way upward, and quenching. So this is the way of refined character according to the Buddha's teaching. So if you want to refine your character, you have to go on this path. This you can apply for your day-to-day life. Also, if you want to achieve your goals, you can go on this path also. This is very effective if you practice with these techniques in your life. If you want to attain nibbana, free from suffering, this is the path. So I think you understood what I told you today. My time is over. So if you have any question, you can ask from me. I can give you some time to ask questions.
Thank you, Bhante, for that very important messages in that sermon. That because if we are to transform and change from whatever wrong views or actions and words, only each one of us knows what is our own wrong, and look to identify it, recognize it, and to be determined and to do it yourself. It's a very DIY method, do it yourself. And also that the fact that I think, thank you for pointing out another important message, that the Buddha's teaching, that it's a gradual process. Nothing is going to be a miracle, or just by praying something won't happen. And as Bhante said, nowhere is it written that if you give so many dhanas, you will transform, or if you do so many hours of, or whatever the meritorious act, you have to face it, look inwards and correct it. So that was a very, very powerful methodology, and which the Buddha, or as Bhante, or the Sangha, or the Buddha can only tell the path. The rest is how it should be done by that person. That's the message, isn't it? So at least that is how I understood. I hope that is correct. Thank you very much. It is a powerful message. Thank you. Any I'm sure there are other questions. Anybody else to ask questions? Bhante, this morning I was at another sort of a day retreat, and very similar thing was told. Not exactly, but Bhante, they were talking about the, to look at each of those characteristics in the Karaniya method, in the Vattupama Sutta. Those 16, take one by one, but I suppose there are more than 16 errors in us, but to take each of those and look at those and consider whether it's there in us and get rid of it.
Yes.
Is that, can Bhante help us a little bit more on those things, those different Machari and Nisa and all these same things, like what Bhante also mentioned?
Of defilements, we can say Machari, Nisa, and a lot of things. We have a lot of defilements in our mind. We can divide into many parts, defilements, but the root is greed, hatred, and delusion. Everything starts from here. We know about mistakes, and because our mind knows what we have. But people don't focus on it. They always focus on the others, what the others have. And take the others' errors and mistakes to themselves. And how it goes, they take the others' mistakes to their lives, and they start to think about others' mistakes. That is also what they do. They are increasing their greed and hatred delusion in their mind again regarding the others' mistakes.
Bhante, there is one question on the chat from Professor Narada Varnasurya, who wants a little more, an example of the fifth method. He says he heard it like quenching. If it was quenching, to give an example of that is the request, Bhante.
Yeah, quenching means after you go through these practices, at the end, you realize yourself that you have already removed that defilement from your life. This is actually what we call you give a certificate to yourself that I have done I have totally removed this from my life. For an example, as we talked before, I used to kill living beings. Now I have totally removed it from my life. That means you have no any kind of intentions in your mind. Before you got angry, now totally I don't get angry. That means you have totally removed the anger from your mind. We call it in Sinhala Nivadanimani. Quenching means Nivadamano සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අයින් කරලා දාන එක. ඉවත් කරලා දාන. Quenching කියන්නේ ඒක.
There is a message thanking Bhante for your time to share the Dhamma to the world. From the name is not there, only the iPhone number. Any other questions, please? Nadisha, you want to make a comment or question?
Yes. Avasarai Swamin Wahanse, thank you very much for that very useful and inspiring talk. Swamin Wahanse, is there a specific sutra where these 5 points were mentioned?
Yes. This sutta is Salleka. Salleka. You can go to this sutta and you can get more information.
Great. Thank you very much, Swamin Wahanse, because
Bhante, the Salleka means a poisoned arrow. Is it removing a poisoned arrow, isn't it?
Yeah,
is that right?
The right word is refined character. Yeah, removing the defilements from your life. Poison, you can say in different words. In Sinhala we call keles. Keles. Removing defilements, eradicating. Gradual process.
It's an inner purification.
Yes.
Inside, cleaning the inside.
Yes, cleaning the inside in a gradual process. There is, because people think, I can do it very fast and suddenly there is a gradual process. We have to understand that it's not, we can't do it only through meditation, only through giving dana or other things. Meditation also one part. Meditation we need to clean our mind. Then we can, while cleaning, we have to practice. Cleaning and practice.
Is this the same thing as saying Anupubba Sika, Anupubba Kiriya, Anupubba Patipada? gradual, is it? What is Sika? Bante, can you explain Sika? Anupubba Sika?
Sika means in according to some moral side, according to some moral side, Sika, not
Like
Sika.
Vinay,
Yeah, like Vinay. Sika.
discipline. Mm.
So through Sila also we have to remove something.
So Swami Nuhansa and Dr. Manori, I think probably one area that most people who are serious about the path, what they struggle with is the minor, what we think are minor defilements. So for example, we don't lie to deceive somebody, but people think it's okay to say a white lie. Let's say somebody's inviting you for an event and you don't want to go. So you just say that, you are busy with the class or something, but the real reason is you don't want to go. So I think what I understood today from Swami Nuhansa is we think we are good people because at a glance in society, the people we consider bad do very serious bad things. So therefore we kind of congratulate ourselves and think we are good people. But if we are serious about the path to liberation, that is not enough, because that is just being good is just enough to be good in society. But for the path, it is those small things that go unnoticed to us from habits and which are excused almost from society. So we may not kill living beings, but occasionally we may slap a mosquito and we may not think that we are killing living beings. So things like that. So by being very, very conscious and alert, and like Hamaduro said, to first start by saying, I do wrong things, then only we will start seeing those small, quote unquote, small wrong things in our lives, which we can bring to zero. So thank you very much, Swami Nuhansa.
And there may be more than small things also, but we don't surface those things. We feel like keeping a concrete slab over it and it is fastened down. But what Bhante was saying was open up, and one of those steps was to look and be honest, or to be honest, then you look. Otherwise we won't see. We can kid ourselves.
Yeah, when you start to practice, it happens. When you start to practice, especially when you start to practice meditation for a quite long period, then it happens. That means I have discussed with you about Vipassana. When you start to practice meditation deeply, then our past memories start to arise. They comes and start to disturb. But it's okay. That time what you have to do, don't focus on them, because you have nothing to do with them. So what you have to do, you have to suppress them, and you have to always focus on the wholesome thought, wholesome activity what you do now. If you focus on that, that means you start to develop it again. So we have to focus on all the errors and mistakes as we can. Actually, as I told you, this method you can apply to our day-to-day lives too. Especially who wants to pass from the exam. If there are children, they can apply this method to the exam also. Can see the
We
page.
we invited some of our we invited Dhamma school students to participate Hangama. So
This
They
is
were the ones who were making the noise.
because Buddha's teachings apply. It can be applied for many things. Our to successful in our body life, also our spiritual life, so both sides.
And as Bhante said, that way, that upward thing, the transformation will make that person feel lighter, more at peace. And, there's a difference in that person's maybe ability to, they will feel for themselves, not the certificate, but they know the difference. As with the change coming over, you get to know.
Yeah, then he doesn't want to change the path. That is a motivation actually. It's a good motivation. That motivation comes within himself. Then he doesn't stop. He practice until it finishes. This is what happens.
Thank you, Bhante. I think the time is up. Dr. Patirana, do you have any comment? Chandra? Chandra Patirana?
I was following most of it at least, and finally it comes to following what the mind says. Because as this child said, it's an exam which is continuous in our life, and we all tend to fail quite frequently. And the effort should be try and pass as many times as you can during the day, for which you have to observe the mind. It's the mind that gets you going. And when something comes, the response comes first from the mind, and then your speech, your action, whatever. So it's a case of monitoring the mind and see how many times you can pass that exam, because we often fail it throughout the day. I mean, minor ones, as say white lies or whatever you call it. Some people do much worse things, but we, just to remind what, now I'm nearly 80, retired about 5 years ago. Now, when I was going to work, once I got late to do a clinic, and the nurses said, "Oh, doctor, the patients are waiting." Now, should I lie or not? I could have said, "Oh, my tire punctured," or there was a road block. I said, "I was watching this cricket match that is being played in Australia." That's the truth. I have an obsession, in fact, that I can't lie. It's an obsession. It has become, which people might think, "This is a hello fellow. Now he should be in the clinic instead of watching cricket match on the television. It's being played in Australia or something." Due to time difference, I think I got up at 3 o'clock or whatever. So this is not only observing the mind, it has to become a practice. This is as far as lying is concerned. About killing, gradually I gave up eating fish and meat and things. I never killed anyone, except when I was practicing for my medical exam, upper seat, whatever. I killed a frog. I remember it every day, like, see, just for dissection. Now, apart from that, I haven't intentionally killed anyone, not even an ant. I wouldn't have done a cockroach or anything. That becomes an obsession. It's a practice. And going on to animal killing, gave up eating meat, gave up eating fish, gave up eating eggs, gave up eating anything that contains egg also. So people will say, the Buddha didn't say that. It's a different thing. You be honest to your mind. That is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was Dr. Patirana from the UK. He speaks to me and a regular follower. Thank you, Chandra.
Still, I